Welcome back, everyone, for another episode of Humanize IT. And today we have Uma back as our guest speaker. So Skip gets another week of breaks. And we're going to be talking a little bit about AI disruption. Now, as you guys have been listening to the podcast, I've been covering this every week for, I don't know, we probably have 6 conversations on AI, from high-level PhDs talking about AI development to Skip and I talking about just how we're using it in the business. So, Uma, give us a little bit of introduction of yourself and how you're using AI and what you recommend for people. And let's kind of go from there. It'll be really interesting to see in comparison to our last episode where we talked about how we use it to how you're recommending we use it as a mid-level professional.
I'm Uma Subramanian. Thank you so much, Adam, for inviting me here. With 20 years of experience at Microsoft and a year at a tech startup, I now have my own company, Limitless Leaders, where we help tech professionals become sought-after leaders. And today, with what's happening in the industry with AI, just rapidly changing everything, and tech layoffs and so many other things that is happening, what I see now is the need for supporting tech professionals with making this move. And that's one of the primary focuses for our organization now. And what I see when I look at what's happening and what tech professionals need to do is tech is changing, definitely. And really ramping up on tech is one of the foundational things everyone has to do. And you asked me how I'm using AI today. I would say that I live on AI these days. I have some 20, 30 tools that I use for many different aspects of my business and coaching. So it's become a part of life, and it will only become more and more, the future is only going to become more and more agile and dynamic. And so we as tech professionals need to keep up with this pace and be adaptable. So one of the things that I have come up with is my human framework, which is really leveraging on your human edge, the humanness that you can bring to AI. And I'm happy to share that if you think that would be interesting to your audience.
Sure. Yeah.
So the human framework is basically what I think tech professionals need to really focus on to thrive with this rapid pace of change. The human stands for H for holistic thinking, U for understanding others, M for magnetic communication, A for adaptability, and N for navigating complexity. And when I say H stands for holistic thinking, what I mean is now AI can give us all the data and information, like tons of insights at our fingertips. What we need to be able to do is connect the dots and figure out and find meaning from that, and figure out how to create impact from all that is available to us. So I think that is the first skill that I would say we really need to focus on developing. The second skill is U for understanding others.
Okay.
Understanding others is about emotional intelligence, listening, and really focusing on building trust and earning trust with others. M is for magnetic communication. Magnetic communication, again, it's about storytelling. Today, AI tools can write the email for us, write the content for us. All of that is being done by AI. So how can we really take all of that and use that information that AI is providing to move people to action, to inspire people to action? That is really what becomes key. So that is the magnetic communication piece. And A is for adaptability. If things are changing so fast, so being adaptable, staying curious, continuously learning, being able to spot what's happening with the emerging technologies, what's happening on the business side, what's happening on the people side, and being able to put it all together and come up with ideas that make an impact. That is all about adaptability. And the last is navigating complexity. Again, there is just too much information overload right now. So, how do you take all that and make it simple and clear for others? That is the fifth skill that I think would really distinguish people that will thrive in AI. So that's my human framework. That is something that I believe that if we develop in all those 5 areas, we can really leverage our human edge and thrive in this era.
Yeah, I think finding a framework that you can operate within for your tools is great. Everybody talks about knows that I talked about my 3 levels here. You've got your research assistant, and that's your perplexity. You've got your document builder, your worker, and that's for me is Claude. Claude is the one who's building things for me. He's making documents and she's pushing out code reviews and looking at things for me, but that doesn't do any research for me. But then I've got my architect, my full on IT person, and that is my Replit. Replit's designing out applications for me and solving problems. And I put hundreds of dollars into Replit a day just to build things that are really nice for other people to use and kind of gain advantage in their careers. And so what we really want to look at is like how do you divide up using your human methodology, what are core tools for people to put into their lives that are going to make a difference?
So these are skills that you will have to build on top of what the AI tools will, or at least the AI tools that are available today, are helping you with. So these are some of the skills that we as humans have to invest in ourselves in developing them. So that's one of the focus areas for our coaching, where we help individuals elevate their holistic thinking, their ability to communicate more magnetically, their ability to cope up with change and navigate complexity. I'm sure there will be AI tools that will replace the coaching and all of that. I know there are lots of tools already available in that space and coming up, but that's really what I think is missing today. You can use AI tools to get the scripts for communication, but you will have to, and you have tools to practice and rehearse. Even chat gpt allows you to practice communication, or even if you're appearing for a job interview, you can actually use chat gpt to practice that, the storytelling. But really, I mean, you can use the AI tools, but I think what it comes down to is you taking the time to invest in developing those skills, whether using AI or different mediums and formats that are available, um, and getting ready for that. My audience, Adam, is usually tech professionals that are building these AI platforms at Microsoft, Amazon, Meta, Google. So my audience is usually they're already building on AI. They are AI product managers, AI software engineers, people like that. So I am not necessarily teaching them AI, or I don't have to help them with AI tooling. They're already well versed with that and experts in that. What my focus is usually helping them see bigger, being able to come up with frameworks and models that they can use to communicate more strategically within their organizations, elevate themselves within the organization as well as online. with a strong
Yeah.
leadership brand, things like that.
And I think that's something that people need to like look into is like, what is an adequate way of doing AI? Like, what is actually helpful? Where are
Mhm,
we in this? And what does that mean for our organization? Like, so it's not just a matter of having an AI employee that just kind of runs off, but having a purpose behind that AI, this architecture.
mhm,
So I'm designing out something called Humanize AI, and it's based upon an actual product I have. So we have a leg up there in that we have an existing framework that we are building an AI tool within, so we don't have to think about the huge architecture. We have to think of like, what is the user experience like? And that really makes things a lot easier for us because now we can focus on user experience rather than where are we going with this? It's like, oh, we
mhm,
already went somewhere with it with our product. Now we're creating a larger scope that is answering questions, that is leveraging AI. We're doing it as a proof of concept, and it's showing a lot of promise. But if we had
mhm.
started from scratch and said, hey, let's create a tool that uses AI, it could have gone in any direction. It could go in a million ways, but somebody had to have the vision setting. Somebody, it's
Oh,
kind of like our last conversation we talked. Somebody had to be the manager.
mhm.
Somebody had to see the bigger scope and
Vision.
guide the employees. Say, hey, look, we have a lot of things we can do with AI. Here's our narrow focus. Here's our goal. Here's what we're trying to get to. But let me know if
Mhm,
there's some creative ways to get there.
mhm. Yes, yeah, totally. I mean, we have to start with the goal, or the end in mind. I totally agree with you.
Yeah. And so I think that's what I've learned to myself is like prompting,
Mhm,
like getting good prompts in. And yes, the AI is going to build whatever I want. And so let's say I'm working with Claude or I'm working with Claude Code or I'm working with Replit and I give it a set of instructions. It's going to follow my instructions. It's going to do its best to architect it out. But if I make a mistake and tell it to update some tables, and then I go in and make another thing that tells it to update those same tables, it's, there's a conflict here. Well, let me just resolve it because, this is going to work. And it's like all of a sudden it just wiped out a bunch of information you had. And it's because you told it to. You did not think through the architecture of this.
right. Yeah,
And so,
definitely being clear about what we are trying to do, the goal we are trying to achieve, and the efficient way to get it done. Totally agree with you. Like we need to plan and prepare for it first before jumping in with prompting.
yeah, and I think when you're just an entry level employee and you're just using Perplexity or using ChatGPT, there's not really much there to worry about from an architecture
Mhm,
standpoint. But if you're in the middle of your career, you're a manager, you got several employees who are trying to use AI, you've got a staff that's trying to use it, you've got a larger corporation that's adopted certain components and you're trying to learn them. You as a manager have to start thinking in terms of what direction do I want to go in with
mhm,
AI and how am I going to help my employees see that bigger picture using the tools that we have today? Because
mhm.
an AI should augment your staff tenfold. Like if they're using it appropriately, it might even be 100 times. But if they're not using it appropriately, they're just going to be busy and they're not
Yes.
going to be productive and they're not going to have specific outcomes. They're not going to have deliverables. They're just going to have some cool things they can do. So how do we guide our employees to use AI in a way that is productive?
So I think AI or not, I think it's the same answer. As leaders, we have to have a vision and clearly understand where we are going and what we want to accomplish. And then we need to be able to translate that to our teams and really, you know, make them also understand what we are creating, why we are creating, right? Like that needs to be
Yeah.
communicated very clearly. And then from that, then we are able to figure out, what is allowed, what is not allowed, what is good, what is not good, and kind of be able to come up with a system that would take us towards our goal in the right way and help us achieve our goals. rather than say being able to identify what will detract or what will keep us from achieving these goals, and meet the quality expectations and so on and so forth. So I think it's the first and foremost, it's about getting clarity ourselves and being clear about what is required here, what is needed here, and how to achieve that. Then communicating that to the teams and making sure everyone is aligned and understands what needs to happen, and then periodic check-ins, follow-throughs, having systems in place to make sure that everything happens as per how it
I think
should
this
happen.
is where a software developer manager has a kind of a leg up. You understand Scrum methodology, you understand Agile.
Yeah.
And when it comes to AI, like your employees can now move so fast during a sprint cycle. Like, okay, here's what's going to happen, people. We're going to define a sprint. We're going to be here by Friday. That's what we're going to aim for. Now, I want you guys to aim there and let's do a checkpoint on Friday and see where everybody got, and let's decide out what we're going to do the next week.
Yeah.
And I think people who have been working in that framework, like say in development, like .NET or wherever for the past like 20 years are going to have a leg up because they already know how to manage this stuff. They're just
Right.
managing software. They're managing development
Mhm.
cycles. It's just a
Right.
different tool now, people.
Yes.
Don't think of it as it is disruptive, that is sure, but you can
Hmm.
still use the same management techniques you used for React JS, which you used for any other framework, .NET and development, and you can use those concepts, just use them with AI instead. Have a
Exactly. Yeah.
deliverable, have your
Hmm.
people research it, and if they get their job done ahead of time, then good for them. They get to go home early. We're going to meet up again on Friday. Everybody's going to talk about what they did that week, how they got forward with Claude Code or with ChatGPT or whatever tool they were using, and present where they are. Everybody stitches things together. The architect goes, okay, this looks great. Now here's what we're going to do for our next steps. Now, in 4 months, we're hoping to deliver this, but it looks like we're going to deliver this by the end of the month.
Hmm.
And then you get to look
Yeah.
really good for management because you developed out a product in 4 weeks that normally would have taken you an entire cycle. And
Right.
now you're going to be like, oh, let's give this team more work.
Right. I think and approaching all of this with an experimentation mindset, right? With especially with AI the way it is right now, I think that's the biggest thing. If you are thinking, from a traditional software engineering mindset, like many of those things are very reliable right now. What if you put in this, you get this out. But with AI right now, it's all experimentation. So I would just say, if you are managing a project, with an AI project, for example, then approach it with an experimentation mindset. Go, give your employees some freedom to go experiment with it as well, and then come back and report back, and just um, you know um, if it works, get iterate and take it to the next level, and so on and so forth. So the
Yeah.
experimentation mindset is what I think is key right now with AI.
Yeah, experimentation mindset. Everybody needs to realize what that means. Like understand that this is not discrete. This is not something you can just say it's this many hours to do what X, Y, or
Mhm.
Z. We are learning all this all over again.
Exactly.
And that's where I think the agile methodology really works. You're working with defined goals in epics and sprints and stories, and you're just being more flexible with time. It's almost like you need to have, like, a bunch of buttons on people's desks, and when they're done with their segment, they hit the button and the light turns green, and when all the lights turn green, we're gonna sit down and have a scrum real quick and say, "Where are we?" Because normally I'd say, "Okay, you've got a week to code this. You got other things you need to do as well. You'll get that in there." But with AI, like, I have experienced firsthand this past month how fast,
Oh, wow.
unbelievably fast AI develops out proof of concepts. And, I'm like, "Holy crap." I thought I am right now, I am in a place where I thought I would be in 6 months, no lie. I thought 6 months from now, I'll be able to have some of these things. And a couple of the things I'm working on are a year ahead of where I thought
Wow.
I was. It's only been
Wow.
about 4 weeks, people.
Wow.
And what am I going to be like in a year from now? Like, what does
Mhm.
that mean for what is the rest of the industry doing? What are they delivering? And I'm just a putz here. I'm just figuring this stuff out. But the rest of the industry, people who actually know what they're doing, people who actually are seasoned developers falling into this, what are they doing? I'm like, man, they must be screaming along, but they're missing something. Vision setting, architecture. They're working really hard and they're having fun developing little tools, but are they working towards a vision? And that's what you talked about earlier when it comes to this AI management. And I think that's what you're kind of talking about here, being an AI manager, a
Mhm.
new kind of framework here. And I believe that'll probably be a job title here in the next year or so. What does an AI manager look like? Exactly what you just explained. A leader who's able to come into an organization, set expectations, and then work with the staff to keep moving things forward from a architectural standpoint, and then keep the ball rolling, keep
Mhm.
adapting, but we move towards the goal the business has. And
Exactly.
so people like yourself who have this experience in Microsoft, in large shops, where you've had to learn this kind of adaptability, now you can teach other companies to do it, which is what you do anyways, right? What's the name of your company again?
Limitless leaders.
Limitless leaders. So you already are doing that. You're teaching people how to adapt to AI in leadership. You're teaching people how to use this in their organizations. And I'm telling you, people, right now, if you are not using AI as a core tool within your organization, you are behind. And when I say behind, I mean going out of business level behind because your competitors are going to pass you at frightening speed. They're going to outproduce you and outperform you because their employees and their staff are now empowered and they've got managers who are helping them see the future. You need to be adopting this. You need to be making this a core part of your culture, and you need to be helping your employees grasp a hold of it, and you need to be directing them towards goals. And
Mhm.
you use people like Uma here to kind of help you do that. Any final thoughts, Uma?
Um, I would just say to our listeners here, thank you for listening. And AI is here and it's only going to like move super fast. Already we are hearing that there's going to be super AI coming soon. So, just embrace the change, jump in and use it to amplify what you do. Don't look at it as a threat or from a negative standpoint. Look at it as something that you can use to amplify yourself and amplify your organization and team and business. I've used or I use UI every single day for many aspects of my business, and I'm super grateful. Like ChatGPT came out when I launched the business at the same time, and I've just all these things are helping us really do more and achieve more. And with that, I would thank you, Adam, for bringing me on here. It's been great.
Yeah, it's been a joy to have you on. It's been great to see you. I hope that we can help you out with your business. I hope that more people can realize that you do need leadership training people. I cannot stress this enough. You cannot become a leader naturally. You can't. Some of you might. There's a rare few of you that are just natural leaders. Okay. Most people need guidance. Even the natural leaders need guidance. If you're a natural athlete, you still need a coach. You still need somebody to help you out. So seek out leadership institutions. We'll probably have her link down below where you can reach out to her directly and see what's going on. But you need this stuff, especially in this world today that is changing so fast. You need to get on this ball. All right. It was great having you on, Uma. And we're going to have you on again, I think. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Adam.